Hey guys, my name is Mike, and I used to be a bouncer at one of the biggest nightclubs in New York City. Not one, it was the biggest nightclub in New York, might still be. And it was a huge, mostly EDM club, right? So, like techno, uh, electronic dance music, and trance and that kind of stuff. We had a lot of dubstep as well. So we had artists, we had some of the biggest names, Tiesto, Chainsmokers, etc., would come in. I don't think we ever had Dead Mouse. 'Cause Dead Mouse was like really big, right? Dead Mouse like fills stadiums, but we had big artists come in, and I wanted to tell you guys the story about tell you a story about some of the situations that we had uh, when I used to work there, and one of the so when you'd work at the front door of this club, and this club had a capacity of like 2,000 to 8,000 people a night. It was massive. We had anywhere from 10 to 30 guards, depending on the crowd size and how many people were expecting. You could tell by pre ticket sales and how big the artist was, how many people were going to be coming in. And I would oftentimes work in various positions. So I could be inside working with the search team. So, you'd have guys outside, they would check the IDs, and they would check the person's ID out front. Then they would come inside, and there was a place where they would scan their tickets, or they could purchase tickets right there at the box office. After they purchase their tickets or they get their ticket scanned, then they'd walk up to a second line of bouncers who would pat them down, searching for weapons and drugs. And depending on the night, it could be a light little pat down, or it could be a pretty serious, like we're digging in, trying to make sure they're not bringing any drugs in, because we had nights, or we were at risk of nights where there was high drug use, and people would overdose and things like that. But anyways, this was a night where I was actually working outside the door, checking IDs, and this we had all kinds of crazy excuses that people would give to try to get into the club. That they're relatives of the headlining artist that night, or they are friends with the owners of the club, or whatever. Just all kinds of stupid stories, and I don't think this was an excuse to get into the club, but I had this pretty girl come up, and nice pretty girl. I think she was a little drunk or a little high, but just very funny, extroverted personality. And she's telling me, she's like, please, it doesn't have a ticket or anything, right? I mean, I think she wanted to go to the show. She was dressed like like she was gonna go out clubbing, but she's like, please, I need to get in. I need to use the bathroom really bad. And I'm like, of course, I'm like, you're not gonna come in to use our bathroom. You got to buy a ticket. You got to come in to patronize the business. And she's like, please, I'm gonna take a shit. I'm gonna poop. I'm gonna poop right here. And I'm like, well, sorry, I can't let you into the club, but I also can't let you, poop right in front of, right here on the sidewalk. There's a sidewalk, there's a street, there's cars parked, there's, crowds of people around. And she's like, I'm gonna do it. She's like, I'm gonna do it. And I said, well, I said, look, miss, there's a Starbucks, about 6 blocks away. It might be closed at this time. I don't know what to tell you, but you gotta try and find something, because we can't let you in to use our bathroom here. She's like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna poop right here. And she freaking pops a squat right in front of me. And I turned to my coworker in shock. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Punch her? Push her, arrest her? What do you do in this situation? Because I feel bad. I mean, I've been in that situation. And luckily, she pops a squat, and then she just stands up a second later and goes, hi, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She's like, I really need to go. And I was like, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, but I really thought, luckily she didn't poop. She didn't go in. She didn't buy a ticket. And I told her, I said, well, you could buy a ticket. I don't know, it's like 15, $20. You use the bathroom then, but she never did. So I would say she probably didn't need to go that bad, and maybe she was just trying to get in for free. That kind of stuff happens all the time. But the lesson learned there for you guys, and it was a reminder for me, is if you're gonna go out in New York City, and I'm talking about in Manhattan or any of the other boroughs, if you're gonna go out, go clubbing, go partying, or hell, even if it's the morning, you wake up and you're like, I'm gonna go for a walk through Central Park. Make sure you fucking take a shit before you leave your house. Take a shit, use the bathroom, make sure you're good, empty out your system, empty out your bladder, because there's bathrooms around, and Starbucks had, and I believe they changed their policy recently, but they had a very lax open door policy for bathroom use. But there really aren't that many bathrooms out there, and it's very hard to find one. And even during the daytime, where there are bathrooms, especially like at Starbucks's, sometimes the lines can be really fucking long, and you are going to be standing there having to go, and you may not make it. You might walk into a Starbucks and say, oh, thank God, finally a bathroom. You go and there's a line with like 20 people standing outside because there's some crackhead who's, smoking or sleeping or whatever in the bathroom, blocking it up. It happens all the time that people go into those bathrooms and they're not just going in there to use them. Or they go in there to use them, but they're like, I don't know what they're doing. They're like some kind of Wolverine, and they're in a den taking a shit. It's just the weirdest behavior that people exhibit in public bathrooms. And at nighttime, most businesses are closed, and Starbucks are closed too. Where are you gonna go? And I can tell you from experience, from going out with lots of friends and seeing the kind of stuff that people do, and like I said, working nightclub security for as many years as I did. You'll see people, guys, it's fairly normal. They'll find an alley and they'll just go find somewhere to pee up against a wall or whatever. But I'll see people, they'll poo in the alleys. There's cars that are parked on the streets. People go in between the cars that are parked on the streets. They'll poop or pee or whatever. It's gross. It's horrible that people do it, but that's what happens, So make sure you go to the bathroom before you go. And if you're out anywhere and you find a clean bathroom, you happen to go into a Starbucks and there's no line, and employees are friendly, and then they say, they'll open the door for you, give you a code or whatever. Go use that bathroom, because you don't know when's gonna be the next time you're gonna get a chance. Go find, you find a clean bathroom, force yourself to use it, and keep it moving. But don't eat too much, don't drink too much, because you're gonna regret it 2-3 hours later. You're on a train, an hour-long train ride somewhere underground, and you suddenly have to pee really bad. It's not a great position to be in. You're gonna have to end up peeing in between the cars as a man, and as a girl, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not a girl, but yeah. So, I suppose it's a pretty good excuse. Maybe it worked for that girl in other clubs and bars, trying to get in with the excuse, I'm gonna shit myself. Give it a shot, go for it. An older seasoned bouncer like me would not fall for it, but you could probably convince somebody to let you in and use the bathroom, and then you could sneak away and go enjoy the party. So, good luck out there.